It's raining today in Southern California, and that is abnormal, to say the least. But hearing all that water trickle down put me in the mood to do a water cooling video. Actually, we're going to be talking specifically today about Monsoon's new EV2 fittings. Performance PCs has sent me a smorgasbord of these fittings to check out, and I thought that this would be the perfect opportunity to go ahead and do that, since all the water is falling from the sky, which is rare. It just puts me in the mood.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. It's Christmas, can't wait. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Guys, he came!
What time is it?
Guys, I got a fractal design Kelvin S36.
Oh no, it is like way too early for this. I'll get the coffee. Okay.
Jeepers, a custom build by JayzTwoCents inside a fractal design Defy Nano S.
I love the holidays.
Golly, a fractal design Core 500.
Yep.
Guys, look, LAN party for days.
This is what makes it all worth it.
This season, spoil the ones you love with the gift of awesomeness. Happy holidays from Fractal Design. Let me go ahead and tell you guys real quickly why I'm excited to share these EV2 fittings with you guys. We live in a world where pretty much the entire world uses one unit of measure, and the United States uses something different. Yes, of course, I'm talking about imperial versus standard. And here's the problem. You've got tube manufacturers out there, and you've got parts coming from all over the world. But the problem is you've got 1/2" tube, and you've got 16mm tube, and 13mm tube, and 3/8 tube. But the problem is, if you guys know anything about measurements, 3/8 and metric or whatever don't actually equate. They are not the same size. And depending on the manufacturing tolerances of the fittings that you choose, they may not fit. If you take, say, a 13mm tube or fitting and try and mate it with a 1/2" tube or vice versa, yeah, it's not always gonna fit. You guys remember that's why I didn't end up using glass on Skunkworks, which I'm holding a 16mm glass tube in my hand right here, but I didn't use glass specifically because, as I showed, it didn't fit. It didn't fit in the damn fitting. And I had a lot of problems there. But Monsoon solved that problem. And here's how. Now what I've got here is a little bit of a smorgasbord when it comes to fittings here, because Performance PCs actually sent this to me, and they do have an engraving service too, where they can do custom engraving on these fittings. Like this one right here we're looking at, this is actually a JayzTwoCents engraved one. They did that on their own. That's kind of neat. They just wanted to show me how some of their engraving works. Because these are brass fittings though, you can see they're kind of a goldish color underneath there. So it looks kind of neat against especially darker colored fittings. Like here's a brass collar here. As you can see, it's sort of a zebra print. Here's another design here that they did. So if you guys are doing a custom build and you've got a logo or something for a channel or whatever, then you guys can really take this to the next level and customize it. Here we got a skull. Yeah, it's a skull, that's cool. But there are a ton of colors available. Now this kit also comes in 2 different sizes, and we'll talk a little bit more about that specifically in a minute, but we've got so many different color options here. It's really neat. So any themed build that you guys are doing, they've pretty much got you covered. Got a few different white ones there. Yeah, you just, like, I'm not kidding when I said they sent me a smorgasbord of fittings. My goodness, they just keep coming. Most of these are collars actually, but hey. Wow. Okay, this is fun now. Let's just do it. I like the gold too, that's kind of a neat color. I wanna do a gold build someday. So we've got a black chrome here as well. It's really sharp looking, as you can see, compared to silver here or nickel. This is what the black one looks like. Now installation of this is pretty damn simple. So you've got this little card that it comes with right here, and as you can see, it says insert tube into slot. Obviously we're referring to our water cooling tube. Guys, keep it clean. The reason why you do this is you want to see if the tube touches the red area or the white area right there on the card. So if I insert my 16mm glass tube right here, I can see that it touches the red area only and does not overlap into the white area. The reason why that matters is they send 2 different size O-rings, O-ring kits that go with these fittings, the red and the white. So since it only touches the red, I'll use the red bag. And the reason for that is they are 2 different sizes. Now these fittings here actually cover a range. There's 2 sizes you can buy from Monsoon. The smaller size covers 11.8 to 13.2 millimeters. So as you can see, that it doesn't matter if you got an imperial tube or a standard tube. 12 millimeter or 13 millimeter tube or a 1/2 inch outer diameter tube, you don't have to worry about them not fitting inside the fitting. The bigger size, which I have right here, actually covers 15.2 to 16.2 millimeter, because we're now starting to see bigger rigid tubing being used in builds, copper tubes. This is a 16 millimeter glass tube that I'm using for the sake of demonstration here, but you could use this for copper tubing, metal tubing, anything that's rigid that's within that size range is going to fit in these fittings. That's what I think is really cool, is it kind of solves the issue of, oh crap, I've got standard fittings and imperial tube. Yeah, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Since I have a tube that fits in the red, I'm going to be using the red here. Now inside the bag here, you've got these little tapered collars. You've got more than you actually need. They give you a few extras, which is kind of neat. That way it's not like you have 6 fittings in here and you get 6 of these and you lose one and you're screwed. Nope, there's extra. Probably cost them only a couple pennies to put together these kits at cost, so who knows. But anyway, it's got a tapered side right there. You want to be mindful of that. We'll talk about that in a second. And you're going to use 2 O-rings per fitting. The reason why is there are 2 grooves inside of the fitting right here that you're going to be putting the O-rings in, so that your tube has something to seal against. They're actually pretty easy to install. They sort of want to work their way in the groove all on their own. You don't have to really finagle them too much. They kind of do their own thing anyway. See, I just got that one. Give me a... It's stuck. There we go. See, that one's in there now. It's in the first groove. So then we'll go ahead and take this O-ring and it will work its way into the second groove. So then you end up with something just like that. So the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take, now ideally this fitting would already be installed on whatever it is you're gonna be, putting it on, a water block, graphics card, pump, whatever. You're not gonna be doing this freely in the air like I am, but for the sake of demonstration. So next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take your tube, but just sort of give it a gentle twist as you insert it. Ladies, did I have to do that? Yes, absolutely. I absolutely had to say that. So that's locked in and seated all the way at the bottom of the compression fitting right there. And then we're gonna take this tapered collar, which I showed you earlier, and with the taper facing the fitting, so facing down, we're gonna slide it over the tube down to the fitting like that. Then we take our compression collar, slide it down, and then we can tighten that down. So like I said, if it was on a water block or whatever, we'd be tightening it like that. And then if you want to get it really good, if you want to get it nice and snug, they also include this tool, and there's these grooves on here that you can use to tighten it as well. But I don't recommend going too tight. 1, you don't want to crush the tube, and 2, you don't want to mar up your pretty anodized fitting. And then last but not least, because you don't want to get a leak at the bottom of your fitting, this should actually be done first with whatever you're installing it on. You take one of the small thick O-rings and then you put it over the bottom of the fitting like that. There's a groove that it fits in, and that is so that the fitting can then seal against whatever it is you've installed it on. So there you go. You guys can see there's a compression fitting that now covers both imperial and standard sizes. And now you're not left thinking to yourself, oh crap, I got the wrong sizes. But you might be left with yourself going, wow, that's a handsome fitting right there. Like I said, this isn't a JayzTwoCents edition fittings or anything like that. This is just something that they did to show that custom builds have custom options if you go and order that through Performance PCs. So this is actually the first Monsoon fitting I've taken a look at in about 4 years. The last time I used any Monsoon fittings was for soft tubing. It was a very similar design to this actually for soft tubing. And it was on a really high-end custom client build that I had done. I'm really impressed with these fittings. And I think because of especially the options for the custom engraving like this, and with the whole Old Spice theme build coming up for Terry Crews, and the color options available, I think we might have actually found our fittings. Anyway, I don't know, I'll think about it, but these might end up being the fittings I decide to use on the Terry Crews build. But anyway, thanks for watching today, guys. Let me know what you guys think about these fittings. The dual O-ring construction, as well as that locking or tapered collar, it's very, very unlikely that you would develop a leak with these fittings. Now, nothing is 100% leak proof, but the concept of getting a leak with these fittings is a tough one because it's got, like I said, double insulation on the O-rings, and they fit so snug. And because the fit is custom with the fitment of the O-rings, you don't have to worry about trying to jam a tube that's a little bit too thick for the hole and worry about cutting or damaging the O-ring by just trying to get it into place, which is usually where leaks will occur. Sometimes cutting the O-ring, inserting the tube into the fitting. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Hope you've learned something here and you're a little bit smarter now when it comes to water cooling, and you should definitely go and check out the EV2 Monsoon fittings. Price-wise, too, they're very comparable to the other fittings on the market, but they give you options and custom fitment. All right, I'm yammering now. Time to go, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.